A very warm welcome to you, ma'am, and all our viewers of Marathon. Today, we are extremely blessed to have Dr. Dipali Batra with us, and she's a senior consultant clinical psychologist at Max Healthcare, and she's been experienced for more than 14 years. She's the founder and director for Pulse for children and adults. She has been awarded Best Performance in School Psychology for her contribution. She has been also facilitated for outstanding contribution to mental health services in February 2020 World Health Organization. Ma'am, I heartily welcome you to Marathon, and I would really like to gain great insight from you with emphasis on our topic on mental health and happiness.
Thank you
Ma'am,
so much. It's a pleasure to be a part of this event. Thank you so much.
thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, with my emphasis on our topic of mental health and happiness, please
Yeah.
tell us how would you define happiness?
See, basically, happiness is a very subjective feeling. I think you would agree with me. And some people say that it's a sense that we have that our life is going well. And it's at times, people say it's a momentary emotion. At times, they say, I have a trait that I'm a happy person. And then it can be a sensation. So basically, a kind of subjective well being that we feel. Also, how do we see it, whether we see it cross sectionally or longitudinally? When I say cross sectionally means at moment, at this time, how am I feeling? And longitudinally is that when I see my life, when I see myself over the years, have I been happy, have I been comfortable, how has been my subjective well-being? So there are different ways of defining it, so different people do that in different ways.
Great, ma'am. Ma'am, please explain the importance of being happy.
I think um, being happy, it's been said that you will have a longer duration of life if you're happy. You have better health, better immunity, and even the research shows that people who have been experiencing chronic pain, once they feel better or comfortable and they have a positive subjective well-being, then they experience decreased chronic pain, also less likelihood of various physical diseases, and better social relationships. I think we all would agree that if I'm happy, or if I'm in a peaceful mood, I'll have more friends, I'll have better social relationship, I'll be seen as a more warm person, I'll be judged as less selfish, and it'll be less likely that a person would get divorced or separated, or there'll be breakups in relationships, and a person would feel more loved, more fulfilled, more creative. So we feel more energy when we are happy. I think if we are low, we are low on energy. If we are happy, we are high on energy. We are more creative. We think more flexibly. We are more cooperative. We are more kind. So I think that there are n number of reasons to be happy for all of us.
True, ma'am. Ma'am, I would also love to know from you how feeling happy helps us in our life.
See, obviously, in the same way as to why I should be happy, feeling happy is important to improve our quality of life. So we can
Absolutely.
also live as an unhappy person, but that will be a really poor quality of life. We would not feel like doing anything. We would not be motivated to take any initiative. We would not take any initiative to meet people or do anything new in life or learn any skill. But once we are happy, or we are comfortable with ourselves and we are more at peace, we it helps us in many more ways.
Right, ma'am. So it has really been a pleasure to learn the importance of happiness in your life. And ma'am, please give us some insight on World Happiness Report.
World Happiness Report. See, mental health and happiness. has been studied now. And basically, if I talk about the report of 2019, out of many nations, we are progressively becoming an unhappy country,
True.
um, because of multiple reasons. And I would actually say that, even the previous speaker was talking about the loneliness part. And I would actually say that 1 in 4 people have no close friends. And obviously, loneliness increases stress, and it affects, our sleep, our physical health, and makes us more unhappy. We are becoming more individualistic, more focused on self, which means that, it's there is less empathy for other people. So
Right.
India is coming down to a very you know it, we are progressively going down to becoming an unhappy country.
True,
And
ma'am.
there are various factors for this.
Ma'am, please emphasize on the various factors. Why do you think Indian citizens, kids, and workforce are unhappy today?
See, like you would actually see that uh, a huge number of children and adolescents go through mental health issues, and almost more than 50% of people go untreated. And a major cause of this is change in lifestyle, upbringing of kids, medical conditions, growth of technology. So it's a boon and a bane, in
Right.
different ways. Then yes, nuclear families are increasing. There is lack of guidance from grandparents. uh, Also, we see that, there is a huge gap when it comes to onset of symptoms and a person going for treatment. So if somebody is going through a mental health issue, then the person is not taken there, and then the families take a lot of time to understand that a child is suffering from something. So suppose if there is a child who is complaining of stomach ache, now the family will go to different doctors and get different kind of investigations done. Now children who have psychological issues, or so-called somatoform disorders, they
Right.
present their psychological pain physically. And a lot of time just goes like that. So the families take time to accept that the pain may also be because of psychological reasons. And in the same way, you can take cases of school refusal. The cases of school refusal among children are increasing a lot, and the intervention takes a lot of time. So there are multiple psychological and emotional factors behind all this, and all these factors need to be addressed. The parent-child bond, that in itself, plays a significant role in this. Also, when you talk about the workforce part, I would actually say that the working hours of Indians is much more than people working in other countries. So obviously, it leads to elevated stress levels, and uh, a huge number of women who show signs of psychological problems. They don't take treatment. They are going to work, handling household responsibilities. So the life has become very mechanical. There
True.
is no, there's lack of connection, and people are expected to do a lot of multitasking and handling pressures, and interaction and office dynamics, with colleagues and seniors, and a lot of these things play a significant role. People get a kind of negative feedback. So all these have a significant role on mental health of people. And I think that these are not addressed the way they should be addressed repeatedly. There is lack of awareness, and because of which, and I think that these are significant factors of why people feel unhappy.
True, ma'am. Ma'am, we have also noticed that people are still away on mental health.
Yeah.
Ma'am, please give us few more reasons how can we improve this situation.
See, people are away because people are not aware. The basic, like suppose if somebody has to visit a mental health professional, they don't know whether they should go to a counselor, to a clinical psychologist, to a psychiatrist. Whom should they approach? Where to go? Where is the person? What would he do? What is what sort of therapies will that person do? Also, a lot of people, a lot of times feel that अपने आप ठीक हो जाएगा,
Yes, ma'am.
उसको ट्रीटमेंट का ज़रूरत नहीं है, हम अपने लेवल पे ही ठीक कर लेंगे। नहीं तो फैमिलीज़ वुड से कि तुम इतने कमज़ोर कैसे हो गए? हम सब कुछ तो दे रहे हैं तुमको। You know, you have everything. We are giving you all the facilities. So how can you feel low? How can you feel negative? And not having time to go for mental health care. Significant concerns about confidentiality, privacy, where if an adolescent has to come to a therapist, an adolescent will think 100 times that, oh my God, the therapist should not reveal anything to my parents if I'm talking about something important. And also, if my peer group or my relations will, my relatives will come to know about कि मैं किसी दिक्कत से गुजर रहा हूँ या गुजर रही हूँ, वो मेरे बारे में क्या सोचेंगे कि मेरे को ऐसा कैसे हो गया. सो यू नो दैट इज डिप्रेशन का डिप्रेशन, एंग्जाइटी का एंग्जाइटी कि मुझे कैसे एंग्जाइटी हो सकता है, मुझे कैसे palpitations हो सकता है. So very common. So stigma plays a significant role. Lack of education, awareness, and also the cost, the financial cost of the treatment, less mental health, less number of mental health professionals, trained mental health professionals, I would say. So people are away because of all these multiple factors, and these are significant factors because we need to, at least in metro cities, people read, come, they are still aware, but in a lot of places people are still not aware, and for years and years they keep suffering. The quality of life goes down, the person stops going to work, children stop going to school, so they are not, their day-to-day functioning really gets has an impact.
Ma'am, listening to your insights on why we are back on mental health, it triggers my curiosity on how can we identify and aid someone facing problem with mental health.
See, one, we have, I think that we should see that there are three major areas that we need to work on. Those, the first major area is mental health literacy. I'm again repeating mental health literacy in schools, colleges, and workplaces. Number two, helping people to increase their happiness index. Because not everyone suffers from mental disorders. There are some people who have tendency to worry or think a lot. So helping them to increase their happiness index. Number three is working with people suffering from mental disorders. So if I start talking about mental health literacy, so with mental health
Right.
literacy, I want to say that we need to help children, parents, teachers, employers, employees, staff in corporates, in organizations to identify, recognizing people who are unwell. And so, because if we are able to identify, we'll be able to help the person go and take the intervention. Like, suppose if I'm sitting in my class or in my office, if I have stomachache, I can tell my colleague, and my colleague can immediately tell my boss, and immediately I can be taken for the medical intervention. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
But so when it comes to medical issues, the physical issues, if I convey to somebody, it is immediately taken care of. If I tell my classmate, oh, I'm having a headache, she'll immediately go and tell the class teacher, and class teacher will take me to the medical room. But अगर मैं किसी को बोलूँ मैं बहुत लो हूँ, मेरी कोई फ्रेंड नहीं है, या मेरा हाथ काटने का मन कर रहा है, मुझे सेल्फ हार्म के थॉट्स आ रहे हैं, my friend doesn't know what to do, where to go. She'll talk to another classmate, they all will talk, both of them will talk among each other, वो डर जाएंगे या उनके और इमोशंस आ जाएंगे, but they don't know what to do, whom to go, how to identify. So the most important part is to make people as, as somebody who know that yes, somebody is suffering from something, and that yes, we are continuously talking about it from a young age.
Right,
So suppose if I tell you a case study, a small case study. So suppose there is a child, her name is X, and she is in fourth class, and she is observing that her friend Y is not playing with friends anymore, is staying alone. Her work remains incomplete. And now, what this girl does is that she has learned to recognize that, her friend, there is something not fine with her friend. So she takes her friend Y to the teacher. The teacher talks to the parents, or maybe the school counselor, and the entire school community, the family. So they are not alone. They don't feel left out. They have the power that yes, we have people with us, and we can go and take the treatment. Here people feel very left out when it comes to going for planning uh, to take the treatment. Also, they have to think 1,000 times. So we have to become crusaders, where we are able to uh, plan an action and take an action.
right, ma'am. Ma'am, I have been really blessed for getting so much insight on mental health literacy. Ma'am, you also mentioned that people need to be happy.
Yeah.
So, what can we do to increase the happiness index of people in
So
general?
see, first we need to understand that what I am, what my temperament is, 50% of it is genetic, you know, and 10% of it is my environment, my life circumstances. And
True.
almost 40% of it is something which is modifiable, which I can work on. So saying that I can do nothing about it, it is how I, it is, this is the way I am, is not going to help. So we need to focus on that 40%, and we need to see how to work on that. So now, like, I've been hearing the talks since last night, and a lot of talks have happened around being pro-social, getting into
Right.
pro-social behavior, building social connection, because it is one factor which always predicts happiness. So yesterday only I got this client. So the lady is 52 years old, and she said that कोविड हो गया है, तो कोविड के बाद से क्या हुआ है कि मैं डायबिटिक हूँ और मैं 52 ईयर्स की हूँ, तो मैं वॉक पे भी नहीं जा पा रही हूँ। मेरी फ्रेंड्स भी छूट गई, जो मैं पार्क में जाके बैठती थी, एंजॉय करती थी, और क्योंकि डायबिटीज है, सो मुझे बहुत फियर भी है, और मुझे बहुत लोनलीनेस लग रहा है। मेरा सन है, वो मतलब काफ़ी बड़ा है, तो वो मुझसे कितनी बात करेगा। मेरे हस्बैंड भी अपने वर्क पे चले जाते हैं, सो मुझे बहुत लोनलीनेस लग रहा है। एंड एक्चुअली व्हेन आई वेंट इनटू द डिटेल्स, शी वाज मिसिंग दैट social connection with people, that face to face interaction, sitting, joking, talking, discussing a lot of things. So I think that pro social connection, uh, social connections play a very significant role. Then active listening, when we listen to somebody, we feel good. Empathy is another significant indicator. Being compassionate towards other people and being kind. So if I actually tell you, kindness makes us happy, and happiness makes us kind. It's vice versa. So if you
Right.
actually do, if you actually do a kind act, fine, you will feel nice, good. It will give you a positive feeling. Oh, I am a good human being. I have done something good to somebody.
Right,
And
ma'am.
when you're happy, you automatically become more giving. You automatically become more kind. So it works both ways. If you're kind, you'll become happy. If you're happy, you'll become kind. So that is one thing which people can start practicing. And when we actually say that, call a friend and compliment her, or do something for people in the family, something different. So you will actually see that when they are happy, and when you see that emotion of happiness, or feeling good, emotion on someone's face because of you, you will actually feel more happy. So that's another way. Then obviously cooperation with people, being mindful, being in the moment, experiencing the moment, feeling the moment. What you're, suppose if you're eating food, then you are experiencing, the colors of the food, and how you are putting it into your mouth, how much are you putting into your mouth, the aroma, everything around it. So, most of us, when we eat food, we watch TV, or we have our phone with us, or we are talking to somebody, so we don't experience that. Being mindful means that you are in that one moment. Also, laughter, it helps. A lot of play activity. So a lot of people, when I'm talking to, and when I tell them that you should be playing a game of Ludo or Carrom board, very simple games to make you feel good, so they feel nice. Expressing gratitude of for what you have, being thankful for what has been given to you, is another way.
True,
And
ma'am.
also a kind of awe experience, something which is very different. Awe experience, I would say, uh, going on the terrace and seeing the stars, or
Absolutely, ma'am.
so there are certain.
Enjoying and appreciating the present moment.
Exactly. So being mindful, being there, you will actually see that it will reduce pains. It will bring better sleep. It will make you feel more relaxed, much more calmer, and it will help you improve your social ties. All these activities, though people feel that I'll not be able to do it, I can't do all of it, but that's okay. We just need to begin from somewhere. So there are n number of things that we can do to feel good, to feel better. Because not everybody gets the diagnosis of mental disorders. Uh, there are certain moments, there are certain times when we don't feel nice. So instead of staying in that one zone, we can get into certain activities or do certain things, even if we don't feel like doing them. तब भी हमें वो करना चाहिए. Then stories
Absolutely.
also help. You would have heard of, listening to stories, listening to narratives of people, of what they are, their life experiences, of what they have gone through. You will actually see that even these make us feel good. Also, I have to find my own fit. What fits me? Not everything will fit
True,
me.
ma'am.
So
Absolutely.
what would fit me? I have to start practicing that.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, I would request you to provide few insights on mental disorders. We mentioned this earlier. How can
Hmm.
we provide care for such individuals suffering from these disorders?
See, I think the first and the most important part is to bring awareness. Because what clients usually do is that, yes, they start googling. They start, suppose if there is a diagnosis, so they, like a girl studying psychology in 11th or 12th, would come and tell me that I have anxiety disorder also, I have depression also, I have narcissistic personality also. Because she's reading about all that, so she's self diagnosing, and she's becoming too worried and too concerned about, oh my god, I have all this. That is one. So one is that, if a client is coming to you, then helping the client become aware of what he or she has, what mental disorders are, and like there are diagnostic criteria. So for somebody to have depression, this is the diagnostic criteria that should be there. Then only a person will be diagnosed as having clinical depression or a depressive episode. So I think, first there should be an awareness that nobody causes these disorders to himself or herself intentionally. This can happen to anyone, and these are diagnostic conditions, and these can be treated, and people
True, ma'am.
recover. A lot of people recover and are functional in their lives. So I think that the first step is to educate people and to tell them the role of mental health professionals, because there are a lot of myths. Like, people would feel that मैं medicine खाने से मैं बहुत slow हो जाऊंगा. So there are a lot of myths. Then what would the therapist tell? My relatives are telling me so much, so she's going to tell me the same thing. So preconceived assumptions जो हैं, notions जो हैं, या आप जितने ज़्यादा लोगों से discussions करते हैं, everybody has their own opinion. Like the lady who came to me yesterday, she said that when she spoke to her friend about her loneliness, her friend said that even her friend's husband is suffering from this thing and nobody recovers from all this. So when a client listens to this, that oh my god, मैं कभी भी recover नहीं करूंगी, उसका भी husband कभी recover नहीं करा, so it leads to a feeling of disappointment. So we need to educate people that everybody is different and everybody's response to treatment is different, and so they should be trusting their treating team and then coming, and obviously also telling people the difference between psychiatrist, clinical psychologist, counselors, psychologists, because people are not aware of who does what. So a lot of times people remain confused and they don't know whom to approach for what. Also, I would say that there should be a team approach in the treating team, and people should be open for referrals. So a lot of people who are studying psychology, what they do is that they start treating somebody with severe mental disorders also, in spite of knowing that what I'm doing may not be right. They do a lot of trial and error. So I would say that somebody's life is in your hands, so you are the best person to decide whom he should go to, instead of experimenting or doing trial and error things with the client. So understanding that the client needs what sort of treatment, where the client should be sent, and understanding that there are certain biochemical imbalances, certain genetic factors that actually need a proper treatment approach.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, we have gained a lot of insight regarding mental health and happiness. We will be very glad to provide the key advices we have gained, and we will be able to follow them absolutely very sincerely, which will also help us to be mentally happy as well as gain a lot of insight on mental health. I
Exactly. So we need to
sincerely thank you.
we need to work on actually holistic well-being, wherein we are moving towards holistic well-being by focusing on mental health literacy, working on happiness index, and working on creating awareness about mental disorders and how to go about the treatment process. So I think that's really important, because mental health is as important as our physical health.
Absolutely, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you very much for
My
providing us so
pleasure.
many insight about all these mental health and happiness.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.